So yes, now, so what we were telling, so we were discussing about how viruses are different from other microorganisms, right? How viruses are different from other microorganisms. What are these other microorganisms? So microorganisms, basically they are grouped into these classes like bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae. Okay, and how viruses are different? They can reproduce only inside the cell of the host organism. Okay, outside the body they are like a non-living object. Okay, for telling something living, it should have a cellular structure, right? So all these things are absent. Viruses are not made up of cells, neither like not multicellular and or unicellular, nothing like that. They are just composed of DNA and protein, that's it, nothing else. So so viruses have different structure. They remain non-living outside the body, and they start dividing and reproducing only inside the host organism. Okay, have you heard about parasites? Anyone? What are parasites?
Ma'am, they live in host.
They live inside a host, right? So parasites can be two types, you know. They can either live on the surface of the host, or they can live inside the body of the host. Okay, so uh, the category which can be a parasite at the surface of the on the surface of the host, they are known as ectoparasites. And the one which goes inside the body and live there, those are endoparasites. Okay, so viruses, they only live inside the, see here, inside the cells of host organism. So this inside means they are all endoparasites. Okay, so here, you know, when I'm telling you, especially from the NCRT, so any point if you are facing, you can hearing something new, then you can write it in your notes, or you can just highlight your own book and write there itself. Okay, so whatever is suitable for you. So yes, common examples of viruses, what are they? Here, what is given in your book is cold, influenza, polio, and chickenpox. Okay, so diseases like dysentery and malaria, they are caused by protozoa. We call them protozoans. Okay, so what is that? Dysentery and malaria. Remember the examples. And bacterial diseases are what? They are typhoid, tuberculosis, right? Now let's see these things we read last time. Okay, so here you can see bacteria looks like this, you can see, right? Then these are algae. Okay, so algae are, this is one filamentous types, like you can see the filament kind of structure, you know, cylindrical, long cylindrical structure. And then there's a different type that is chlamydomonas. Then amoeba is there, it has no shape, so we call this particular shape, what we call it, which type of shape?
Irregular shape.
Irregular shape. Okay, or sometimes amoeboid shape also refers to the same term. Okay. Then paramecium, I told you, it looks like slipper. So it's go, you know, like when you'll study in higher classes, you will call it slipper animalcule. Okay, then there is fungi. Fungi can be of different types. There are examples given here. Bread mold. So bread mold, the name itself shows that this is the actually mold which destroys the bread. You keep bread outside, you will get this fungus there. Then there's penicillium, there's aspergillus. Okay, these are also examples. So this is the structure of viruses. See, they have a very different structure. Okay, they do not have cellular structure. So where do microorganisms live? So they can be single celled. Okay, सिंगल सेल्ड में एग्जाम्पल क्या आएगा? बैक्टीरिया. बैक्टीरिया, ऑलवेज रिमेम्बर, बैक्टीरिया इज सिंगल सेल्ड. ओके. एंड सम एल्गी एंड प्रोटोजोआ. ठीक है, प्रोटोजोन्स आर ऑल्सो सिंगल सेल्ड. ओके. सम ऑफ द एल्गी आर सिंगल सेल्ड. ठीक है, एंड सम आर मल्टीसेल्युलर. ठीक है, many algae and fungi are multicellular. So they live in all types of environment, ranging from ice cold climate to the hot spring and deserts to marshy lands. So they are also found inside the bodies of animals, including humans. Some microorganisms grow on other organisms while other exist freely. Okay, so the organisms which grow on other organisms are parasites, and others which do not grow on them, they are free living organisms. Okay, so microorganisms and us, so how they are connected to us. Okay, so microorganisms play important role in our lives. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, whereas others are harmful, as the name of the chapter itself tells. Okay, so let us discuss it. So friendly microorganisms. What are friendly microorganisms? Okay, so microorganisms which helps us. Okay, so for example, microorganisms which are used in preparation of curd, bread, cake, etc. Okay, then microorganisms have been used for a very long time for the production of alcohol. Okay, so this is another use. Then they are also used for cleaning up of the environment. Okay, like there are bacteria. Okay, there are certain bacteria which help in decomposing the waste. Okay, whatever is there as a waste, they degrade it and they convert it into basic elements like carbon dioxide and water. So they clean the environment. Okay, so all the organic waste are broken down into harmless and usable substances by bacteria. Okay, so bacteria also used in preparation of medicines. So agriculture they are used to increase the soil fertility. Important. So in agriculture, bacteria can be used for increasing the soil fertility. By what? By fixing the nitrogen. Very important. Okay, fixing the nitrogen. What is the meaning of fixing the nitrogen? I told you, I think, in the last class. Anyone? That means what? Basically, nitrogen in the air is what? Is free nitrogen, right? It is molecular nitrogen, N2. And when plant needs this nitrogen, they need in a certain organic form, like nitrate, like ammonia, like nitrites. So these bacteria, they convert this free nitrogen in the air in the organic forms like ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, etc., which can be used by the plants. If these forms are not present, then plant cannot use, even if air is filled with nitrogen. Okay, so plant needs nitrogen in the organic usable form. Okay, so this process of converting nitrogen which is free in the air in the organic form, in the usable forms, okay, of nitrogen like nitrate, ammonia, etc. Okay, so this is called fixing nitrogen. Okay, so making of curd and bread. Okay, so we know that curd, how curd is formed. We keep the milk. I told you to see in your house. Did you see?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what they do, they keep the milk and they add a spoon of curd into it and then leave for overnight or 6-7 hours, right? And then it forms into curd. Yes.
Ma'am, in the milk, if we add tamarind also, it also becomes curd.
if you add tamarind, then also it can become curd, because basically why it becomes curd, tell me.
Ma'am, that I don't know.
That you don't know. Okay, so basically what happens, see, that's why we should know the science behind. You know, jab yeast ko you put in the bread, why it swells up? Because when yeast grows, it releases carbon dioxide. It will do respire normally. Okay, so it will eat whatever is there, sugar, and then at the end it will produce carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide releases, obviously it's a gas, it will go out. So as it goes out, the bread swells, right? So that's why bread swells. Now coming to the curd. Similarly, curd, basically when the lactobacillus is added. So what is this lactobacillus? This is a bacteria. Okay? Now this lactobacillus, which is present in the curd, when you add this lactobacillus, it gets the milk protein. Okay? So basically, it utilizes milk. Okay? And what it does, it grows and it forms certain acids. Okay, what we call that acid? Lactic acid. From the name you will understand, lactobacillus. So it produces which acid? There's an acid which is called as lactic acid. Okay, so lactic acid, because of the acid, yeah, because of this acid, what happens? The curd gets coagulated. Okay, so sorry, the milk protein gets coagulated in the form of curd. Okay, that is due to the presence of the acid. Now instead of lactobacillus, even if you add it won't be exactly that taste, that is true. Curd we cannot do directly by that, but curdling effect, basically दूध फट जाता है. If you add नींबू, if you add lemon in the milk, what will happen? What will happen?
Paneer becomes.
It will
becomes
become paneer.
type.
Yeah, so coagulation will occur. Okay, so basically due to the presence of acid, the protein gets coagulated. The milk will get coagulated. Okay, so not the protein part only, but no, just a second, give me just 2 minutes. Yeah. So what I was discussing, milk. Yeah. So when we add the lemon or any acid in the milk, what will happen? The protein will curdle, will coagulate, means that will attach with each other. Okay, and that forms your that is kind of formation of paneer and all. Okay, but normally just by adding, um, I have not heard curd can be prepared by by tamarind, you are saying, no? Have you seen it? Hello, can you all hear me? I'm not
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay, sometimes you should be you should give response, otherwise I feel ki there's some connection problem, you're not hearing. Okay, okay, so yeah, coming to normally, हाँ, what was your question exactly? मैं पूरा घूम गई, मैंने इधर उधर बता दिया and I did not answered your question. What was your question? Tanishta?
Ma'am, I said that in the curd, if we add tamarind also, it becomes, in the milk, if we add tamarind also, it also becomes curd. I have heard this, but I have not seen it.
Actually, it is said that is true. Actually, fermentation can occur in different ways. So you don't know about fermentation, but actually, they all contain certain bacteria or certain microbes which can actually do fermentation. Okay, so there are many ways. They are not I've not heard about tamarind so much, but I've heard that there are different ways to make yogurt from milk. Okay, so I need to study this. I have no idea. Okay, tamarind, say, if just by adding tamarind in milk, if curd can be formed. Okay, I'll tell you all in the next class. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So bacteria are also involved in the making of cheese. Okay, so we saw curd making. Curd में कौन होता है? Lactobacillus. Then cheese. Cheese is also formed by using bacteria. Okay. Then apart from cheese, we also prepare, these batters for rava, and idli, batura. Okay. So all these things are prepared from, you add a little bit curd, or you just leave them for overnight. You mix dal and chawal and you make it the batter and leave it, right? So it will ferment. It will the volume will increase. Okay, and it will become little sour because of the presence of acid and the microorganisms growth. Okay, and CO2 release causes the results into the rising of the batter. So here I think these are things we studied. I'm just seeing the
Yes, ma'am.
diagrams, right? So till where we studied? Here only, I think.
Ma'am, harmful microorganisms.
Okay, these things I have already. So you should have told me before, na? You all are also revising. कि हाँ, madam
I
पढ़ा.
have told that.
So vaccine हो गया था? Vaccine, soil
Yes,
fertility.
ma'am.
Okay. So harmful microorganisms. So today we will see harmful microorganisms. Okay. So harmful microorganisms are harmful in many ways. They are called as pathogens. Disease causing microorganisms are called as pathogens. Okay. Disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Okay. Some microorganisms spoil food, clothing, leather, etc. So let's see the diseases. So here we will see few terms like communicable diseases. So here, communicable diseases. What are communicable diseases? Infectious diseases. Diseases which are caused by a pathogen. Okay. So pathogen enter in our body through air we breathe, the water we drink, or food we eat. They can also get transmitted by direct contact with the infected person, or it can be carried by animals. Okay. Microbial diseases can spread from infected person to healthy person through these things. So the infections which can spread through all these means, okay, they are known as communicable diseases. That means infectious diseases, mostly those diseases which are caused by a pathogen. Okay, so they are all communicable diseases. Okay, so what can be non-communicable disease? Can you just give me any example? What can be a non-communicable disease?
Ma'am, the diseases which do not spread from the infected person to a healthy person. For example, the diseases which we have from our birth, like heart diseases, and then many more are there.
Okay, very good. So one category you told, something which is genetic, which is from the birth itself. So those are non-infectious or non-communicable. Any other disease which can be non-communicable? Anyone? So the diseases which are caused by the deficiency of certain nutrients. Okay, you will study vitamin B deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, vitamin C deficiency. Okay, so vitamin deficiency, mineral deficiency, or normal protein deficiency. Okay, so all these nutritional deficiency diseases are also non-communicable. Okay, so is it clear the difference between communicable and non-communicable disease?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So communicable diseases, this you already know: cholera, cold, chickenpox, tuberculosis, anything which is caused by a pathogen. Okay, which can be transferred through air, water, food, by direct infection contact with the infected person, or through a carrier. So anything which can be, any disease which can be transferred from one infected person to another person, that is called as communicable disease. So when a person suffering from common cold sneezes, the fine droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air, and the virus may enter the body of the healthy person while breathing, and it can cause infection. So there are then how do you prevent the spread of communicable disease? So that means we should keep handkerchief, and whenever, like, it should be a normal practice. Whenever you sneeze or cough, you should always have handkerchief. Okay, so or some cloth, something you should have to close, cover it, because that habit should always be there. Okay. And you should keep distance from such infected person, especially who have viral diseases. Okay, mostly this airborne diseases. Okay, in which the virus particles, they come in the air through sneezing, etc. So there are some insects and animals which acts as carriers. Okay, so यहाँ से carrier याद रखो. What is carrier? Carrier are the insects or animals which carry the disease causing microbe. That means which carry the pathogen. Okay, so what are the examples of carriers? Housefly. This is for example. Okay, then what can be other example? So only one example is given. Mosquitoes. See, female Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito is the carrier for malarial pathogen. What is malarial pathogen? Plasmodium. Okay, you have heard what is the malarial pathogen? Have you heard before?
No,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
it is caused by protozoa.
Okay, so you have not heard. So no problem. So the bacteria, the malarial parasite, you just can remember here. See, now you have been taught here in the chapter. This is the parasite of malaria. What is the name? Plasmodium. Okay, it will have different types of Plasmodium. There's Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium, like 3-4 categories. But all of them, they cause malaria. Okay, so Plasmodium is the name of the pathogen or the parasite which will cause malaria. This should be what? This should be a protozoan. हमने पढ़ा है, right? Protozoan causes malaria. So Plasmodium is a type of protozoa. Okay, so these are protozoans. And housefly is another carrier which is being which sits on the garbage and animal excreta, and then it will sit back to your food, and it will contaminate the food, and person who eats that food, you know, he'll get the disease, he'll become sick. Okay, so how we can protect? We can keep our food covered, we can keep the place very clean, okay, so that no flies should come there. Okay, so this is another thing. Similarly, mosquitoes are also there. Mosquito, first example we saw, female Anopheles mosquito. It is a carrier of the malarial parasite, which is a protozoa, and the name of the parasite is Plasmodium. Another carrier, that is female Aedes mosquito. Aedes mosquito, it is a carrier for dengue virus. Okay, dengue virus or dengue, whatever you pronounce. Okay, so dengue virus is carried by female Aedes mosquito. How can we control the spread of malaria and dengue? By spreading, you know what? By spreading certain chemicals. Okay, and what all mosquitoes breed in water, hence one should not let water collect anywhere. Very good. This is one very simple technique. Okay, should not collect, should not let water collect anywhere, because mosquito, they breed on standing water, stagnant water. Okay, so in coolers, tires, flower pots, etc. So by keeping the surroundings clean and dry, we can prevent mosquito from breeding. Okay, so this is the method you know, told here in your book, so you just can remember this. Okay, so from this point, kya kya aapko yaad rakhna hai? Communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases. Then what is pathogen? What are carriers? Example of carriers: housefly, mosquitoes. What other things can be? Cockroaches. Okay, they can also be a carrier of many diseases. And housefly and mosquitoes are very common. Okay, mosquitoes ka example important hai yahan pe. So example of female Anopheles, which is a carrier of malarial parasite, that is Plasmodium, and female Aedes mosquito, that is a carrier of dengue virus. Clear? Is it clear?
Ma'am, why only female mosquitoes act as carriers? Why not the male mosquitoes?
Yes, good question. Okay, so basically, not always, but mostly whatever you will study. Okay, so actually, there is a group of mosquitoes, they will eat blood. Okay, and there are few mosquitoes, okay, which causes, which eats on the plant sap. Okay, so you will find, have you seen many mosquitoes near some plants? Lots of
Yes,
mosquitoes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so basically, so there are mosquitoes which just they take plant sap as the food, but these Anopheles mosquito, okay, they feed on the blood. Okay, so basically malaria, you know, it gets transmitted to humans by, you know, females, because females takes blood meals for egg production, and these blood, you know, are you know, linked between human and mosquito parasites. Okay, so that is the basic mean. Okay, male usually does not take these you know, some proteins which are required from the blood. Okay, so usually female Anopheles mosquito, they take blood because they need certain proteins from the blood. Okay, and male, they do not need those proteins, so they do not take blood. Okay, is it a little bit clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Okay. So, is there any other doubt before moving forward? Hello, is there any other doubt?
No.
ma'am.
Okay. So these are the diseases. These are the causes, causative microorganisms. This is the mode of transmission, and this is the preventive measures. Okay. So these are human diseases. These are what? These are viral diseases. These are what? Cholera and typhoid, bacterial diseases. This is viral diseases. Sorry, these are not all viral. Tuberculosis will be bacteria. These are viral. So hepatitis A is viral, and malaria is protozoan. Okay. Mode of transmission. All these four, they can be transmitted by air. Okay. Polio can be transmitted by water. Chickenpox can be, chickenpox, right? Chickenpox can be transmitted through contact. Correct. Cholera and typhoid, they are waterborne. Okay. Hepatitis A is also waterborne, and malaria is through the carrier. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So some of the common diseases affecting humans, their mode of transmission is given here. Diseases causing microorganisms in animals. Okay. So there are, certain many microorganisms. They not only cause disease in human and plants, but also in other animals. Okay. So this is a scientist, you can see here, Robert Koch. Robert Koch here, Robert Koch, jo bhi bolo. Okay. So he is very, very famous. You have to learn his name even in class 12th if you have little bit interest to go in medicals, become a doctor. Okay. So even not, if not that also, if you are taking biology in class 11th and 12th, then also you have to, the name will again be repeated, because he discovered the bacterium Bacillus anthracis, and it caused, what, anthrax disease. Okay. So this particular bacteria causes anthrax disease. And not only that, this person also told about what is a pathogen, like how you can say a disease is caused by a pathogen. So he actually postulated few rules, you know then only a pathogen can be called as a pathogen for a particular disease. Okay. So all those things were given by Robert Koch. Okay. So yes, so what we were discussing, yes, microorganisms which are causing which can cause disease for the animals. So example, anthrax, okay, which this microorganism was discovered by Robert Koch. So anthrax is a dangerous human and cattle disease. It is caused by bacterium. What is the name? Important. Remember from here. ये आपको पढ़ना है बाद में भी. Bacillus anthracis. Okay. So Bacillus anthracis causes anthrax. Anthrax is a disease which occurs both in humans as well as animals, cattle especially. Okay. Then there's another disease. So you can just remember it. Anthrax. Then foot and mouth disease of cattle. Foot and mouth disease of cattle. That is caused by a virus. Okay, now we'll see few diseases in plants which are caused by certain microorganisms. Several microorganisms causes in plants like wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, orange, apple, etc. So they will what? They will do. They will reduce the yield crop. Okay, yield of the crop, and how they can be controlled by using certain insecticides. Okay, insecticides are the chemicals which kills the insects, or if bacteria and virus, there can be certain chemicals which can kill the microbes. Okay, so this you can see. Citrus canker, it occurs in citrus plants. It is a bacterial disease, airborne. Then rust of wheat, it is caused by a fungi. Then yellow vein mosaic of bhindi. Okay, it is caused by a virus. Okay, so you can remember these three diseases. One bacterial disease, one fungal disease, and one viral disease in plants. Okay. Now coming to the terminology, that is food poisoning. What is food poisoning? Anyone, any idea about food poisoning? क्या होता है food poisoning? Anyone? No?
And food poisoning could be due to consumption of food spoiled by some microorganism.
Okay, good. So that is the right answer in one way, because food poisoning means if you have taken some spoiled food, okay, so it causes food poisoning. So there's something Paheli kinds. What is it? Buju was invited by his friend to a party and he ate a variety of foodstuff. On reaching home, he started vomiting and had to be taken to a hospital. The doctor said that this condition could be due to food poisoning. So now Paheli wonders how food can become a poison. So how it can become a poison? How food can become a poison? Due to spoilage by some microorganism. Okay. So why? Due to spoilage by some microorganism. So microorganisms grow on our food. Sometimes they produce toxic substances. These toxins actually, they cause illness in our body. Okay. So making the food poisonous, causing serious illness and even death. So it is very important that we preserve food to prevent it from being spoiled. And we should never take spoiled food. Okay. Food preservation. In chapter 1, we have learned about the methods used to preserve and store food grains. How do we preserve cooked food at home? Batao. How do we preserve cooked food at home?
In the fridge.
Yes, in the fridge. Usually in the fridge. Okay, we keep in the fridge if it has to be stored for several hours or maybe one day. Okay, or it depends on food to food, you know. So basically, why we keep it in fridge? What happens in fridge which doesn't allow the organism to grow?
Ma'am, the temperature.
Yes. Okay, so the temperature, you know what is the temperature of fridge usually? Not the freezer chamber, but the normal chamber. Can you guess? No guesses. So freezer is freezer is usually at 0 degrees. Okay, but normal, you know, it is recommended that fridge should have temperature of 4 degrees centigrade, because at 4 degrees centigrade, you know, microbial growth is retarded, or you know, it is stopped. Okay, so usually the refrigerator is 4 degrees centigrade. So yes, so you know that.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can undercooked food also cause food poisoning?
Yeah. Why do we cook food? Tell me.
Ma'am, to kill the germs present in it?
If the food is actually very fresh, don't you eat salad?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So fresh food is always good. When we cook any food, you know, so after cooking, it becomes a little softened, you know, and it brings some taste. And at a temperature, we actually kill many of the microorganisms which, like in many vegetables, like when we have cabbage, cauliflowers. Okay, you cannot eat it as it is because it contains many things which won't be digested easily in the stomach. So it has to be degraded. It has to be broken down a little bit. Okay, so it becomes little broken down and easy to eat and digest after cooking. Okay, and cooking kills microorganisms also. That's true. That's why we boil the milk. If you leave the milk for some time and then you boil, it will again it will curdle, or it will, there'll be, it won't be normal usually. Okay, because some microorganism will start growing. Once you heat it and then you keep it outside for few hours, there won't be any microorganisms. That. Okay, so like that. So yes, where were we? So do you know that bread left unused under moist condition is attacked by fungus? Yes. And microorganisms spoil our food. Spoiled food emits bad smell. Okay. And has a bad taste also. And sometimes the color also is changed. Okay. So is spoiling of food a chemical reaction? Yes. Okay. It is a chemical reaction. And the chemical is produced by certain bacteria. Okay, so Paheli bought some mangoes, but she could not eat them for a few days. Later, she found that they were spoiled and rotten. But she knows that the mango pickle her grandmother makes does not spoil for a long time. So she was confused. Can you solve her confusion? Why is it so? Why the mangoes which we bring from the market get spoiled in 1-2 days, and our pickles, mango pickles, stays for months or years?
Because it is preserved in the way it is given salt and something in the pickles, so it is preserved. And in the mangoes which you bring from the market, we don't keep anything which can be preserved like salt or anything. We don't keep that.
Okay, so basically the statement which Tanisha told, so it is very clear from it that we preserve it, right? So there are ways to preserve the food, right? And what is the elementary or the basic thing in preservation, in whatever techniques we name? The main thing is we reduce the microbial growth, right? Somehow, through some means, we reduce the microbial growth. Okay, and this microbial growth in case of prickles, okay, in case of pickles, what is the thing which helps in reducing this microbial growth? Usually
Salt.
salt. What is the purpose of salt? Have you seen making pickle in your home? कोई ऐसा है जिसके mother pickle बनाते हैं? Yes. So tell me, what happens? Have you seen making her pickle?
Yes, ma'am.
So what she does?
Yes, ma'am, but not the full. Sometimes half of the half.
So whatever you have seen, when she adds salt, you have seen. So after
Yes,
cutting mango, what she does?
Ma'am, after cutting mango, she gave turmeric and salt, and she cooked well, and then put something, then put a lid on it and kept for some time.
Okay.
Then
so
after that, she gave oil and all those things.
Okay, right. So basically, one common thing in making pickles or anything, you keep it in sun. Okay, it's a very common. It's a must process. Okay, so usually we keep it in sun. Why we do it? So remember one very very basic point, जो आप लोगों को बहुत बात तक काम आएगा to solve any conceptual question. Moisture means presence of water content in any substance. More is the moisture content. That means more is the water in any substance, higher will be the probability of microbial growth in it. Always remember. Okay, more is the moisture content of any object, any anything, like living thing I'm talking. Okay, so more will be the possibility of microbial growth in it. Lesser the moisture content, okay, lesser will be the microbial growth, and it won't spoil so fast. Okay, that is the reason why your nuts, cashew, and all those badam, all those things, why they stay for so long, and your mango and all these things, they get spoiled so easily. There you don't do any preservation, right? Cashews को आप कुछ preservation मतलब कुछ नहीं करते हो ना, right? You don't add any preservative so, right? But they stay for very long time compared to all these fruits. Why so? Because their moisture content is very, very low. Their moisture content is very low. Okay, so anything which has low moisture content, okay, it will ruin slowly. Okay, it will get spoiled very slowly. Okay, so to increase the life of any substance, if we decrease the moisture content, that means if you give sunlight, okay, or if you add salt, as you add salt, most of the water gets gets out. Why is it so? Batao? Why water should go out?
Ma'am, in order to lessen the moisture content.
But how? What will be the process? मैंने पढ़ाया है आपको, इससे पूछ रही हूँ. Salt concentration is higher outside the cell now. What will happen? Cell water will, what will happen? Cell will intake water or give out water? हमने पढ़ा था ना, endosmosis, exosmosis, osmosis we studied. In the transport of plant. Are you remembering something? No? Oishi, can you tell?
Ma'am, in osmosis, from the water moves from the higher concentration to lower concentration. So in this case, ma'am, you are telling that outside there is high salt concentration. Then, ma'am, the water will get inside, ma'am.
Why water will get inside? Where water concentration is high?
Ma'am, outside.
How outside water concentration is high? I have put salt, highly concentrated salt is more, and inside the cell water is higher, na? See, concentration, water will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. Of what? Water will move from higher concentration of water to lower concentration of water, right? That means what? If you keep a very salted environment outside, which has lots of salts, then automatically water content will decrease. So water percentage will be less. So basically cell will have higher concentration of water compared to outside. ठीक है, हम बात कर रहे थे when there is a pure water में अगर आप you add something, like kishmish you keep in a pure water, then what happens? After some time you will see kishmish will swell up, right? It will swell. Why so? Because water will go from out to inside. Why so? Because water concentration is higher in the surrounding, because it is pure water. But if you take what? If you take a very concentrated solution, concentrated matlab it has some salts, more of the salt, then water will become very less outside. Water concentration will be less and salt concentration will be high, right? So water should move from cell to outside, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear है सबको? Sakshi, Tanishta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here when you are keeping the pickle in the salt salt, you know, with salt, oil, etc. So what is salt? Salt will further remove the water. Basically क्या करते हैं, बहुत बार pickles को salt लगा करके and then we keep in drying. So most of the water inside the cell of the vegetable or whatever it is, it comes out, it becomes a little dried. And then we take it and then we do put oil. Why oil? Oil is a oil doesn't allow oxygen to come in. Okay, oxygen is another thing which is required by organisms. Okay, so oiling is also important. If you put proper oil, then also microbial growth is retarded. Okay, so if your moisture is not properly removed, then what happens? Because of high moisture, some bacteria or fungus will grow in the pickle.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, in some pickle we give oil to remove the oxygen, so it doesn't allow oxygen to enter. Ma'am, but in some pickles we don't give oil. Ma'am, then which of the ingredient doesn't allow oxygen to enter except oil?
We give in all pickles. Oil is must in all pickles. You find any pickle where there's no oil? Okay, till now I have not seen any pickle which has no oil. Oil is must. Okay.
Okay.
Oil
Ma'am,
or
I
some.
think
Huh.
I'm not sure. Okay, ma'am, I'll ask. But I'm just having a confused between. I think oil is not given, but I will then also make sure. I will get sure from my mother.
You ask. Okay. Usually oil is given. Without oil, we don't make pickles. And apart from oil, along with oil, sometimes we add vinegar. You know, something which is very acidic. You know, khatta jo hota hai. So something like that you add, that also reduces the growth of bacteria as a pH. pH also has to be optimum for the growth of bacteria. So pH, oxygen and moisture, all these factors help in the growth of bacteria. These you will study slowly in higher classes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, what is the use of turmeric to give in the pickle?
Yeah, it is acidic, no? Turmeric, anything which is sour, it has a acid. Okay, usually.
Ma'am, then turmeric and oil both are given in the thing. Then, if any one thing is given, then also the pickle will stay. It will be preserved.
Turmeric is given to give the flavor also. You know, achar, you know, khatta hone se acha lagta hai. So little bit khatai, some spices are added. There's some oil is added. Sometimes vinegar is added instead, you know, instead of turmeric. So, and turmeric, especially turmeric. If you ask, sorry, I just got confused with tamarind. Okay, turmeric you're asking, right? Or tamarind?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, turmeric, haldi.
Turmeric, though, I have not seen so much. Turmeric we add just to give color. Lekin turmeric ka basic function is antimicrobial. You know, turmeric is antimicrobial. That means it kills microbes. That's why in most of the wounds and like that, you put haldi. You know, haldi has the antimicrobial activity. That means it will not allow bacterial growth. Wherever haldi is there, it won't allow bacterial growth, microbial growth. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So yes. So we understood, right? What is these lines? The reason behind these lines. Now, what is the time? Okay, we have half an hour. So let us study the common methods of preserving. Okay, chalo aa gaya preservation. Okay, so first method is chemical method. That means salts and edible oils. They are the common chemicals which are used to check the growth of microorganism. Therefore, they are known as preservatives. We add salts or acid preservatives to pickles to prevent the attack of microbes. Sodium benzoate, sodium bisulfite, they are also preservatives. They are chemical preservatives, not the natural one. Okay, so these are also used in jams, squashes, etc. to check the spoilage. Okay, so they have not gone in the depth of how and why it is happening, but in general you have to remember this much. This is in your course, but if you want to know something deep, you can ask. Then preservation by common salt. Common salt has been used to preserve meat and fish for ages. Okay, so what happens? Growth of bacteria. Salting is also used to preserve amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, etc. Okay, and preservation by sugar. You know, sugar से भी preservation होता है. Like high sugar जिस चीज में होता है, usually they don't get spoiled by so easily. ठीक है, जैसे jam, jellies, squashes, ठीक है, they are also preserved by sugars, but along with that they are also given other preservatives. Sugar reduces the moisture content, which inhibits the growth of bacteria. Okay, so sugar also acts as a preservative. Then preservation by oil and vinegar, I have already told. Okay, so these are also used for pickles. Okay, so in this environment bacteria cannot grow. सेम चीज यहाँ पे विनेगर का क्या होता है, विनेगर का pH is low comparatively. ठीक है, बहुत खट्टा होता है विनेगर. And oil also prevents the oxygen, contact of oxygen with the substance, with the vegetable food, etc. Okay, then there's method of physical methods like heat and cold. Okay, so heat and cold, heating भी हम करते हैं for preservation. You have seen milk को हम heat करते हैं, अगर 2-3 बार दिन में आप boil करो milk को, then it won't get spoiled. Okay, that's what we do in our villages, right? We do not have this thing, refrigerators there. So how we used to preserve? We used to heat it. Okay, cold methods came when we got refrigerators and other methods, other techniques also, which can give that temperature. So boiling kills many microorganisms. Okay, similarly we keep our food in refrigerator, so low temperature also inhibits the growth of microorganisms. Okay, so why does the milk that comes in packets do not spoil? Okay, because they are pasteurized. Pasteurization क्या होता है? Pasteurization is a process where the milk is heated about 70 degrees centigrade for 15 minutes to 15 to 30 seconds and then suddenly chilled, okay, and then stored. So this is kind of heat shock. आप 70 degrees देते हो, आप 100 degrees पे boil नहीं करते ताकि milk के बहुत सारे proteins जो हैं they should not get denatured. So it's always good not to heat the protein for long. Okay, but normally whatever milk we get, if we have to just make it micro free and all, then we have to boil it 100 degrees centigrade for 5-10 minutes. But here milk is heated about 70 degrees for 15 to 30 seconds and sudden chilling is done, and then they are stored in a packet which is done in a sterilized mode. That means no microbes should be there while the packaging stuff. So by doing so, it prevents the growth of microbes. However, it cannot prevent the growth for a very long time. ठीक है, इसीलिए हम लोग मिल्क का पैकेट्स खरीदते हैं. Whenever you go for buying the milk packets, you will see the date. It should not be 1 day before, right? 2 days before. If you get a milk packet, with the date of 2 days back, that means whenever you are going to boil that milk, it will spoil. Okay. So basically ये 1 दिन 2 दिन के लिए it can work, but not for many days. Okay. So by doing so, it prevents the growth of microorganisms. This process was discovered by Louis Pasteur. इसलिए pasteurization बोलते हैं इसको. This is also pasteurization process was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Now storage and packing. These days, dry foods and even vegetables are sold in sealed airtight packets to prevent the attack of microbes. Okay, so now we get so many packaged food. Okay, So that is done in airtight and sealed packets, okay, to increase the shelf life, to increase the longevity of the product. So is it clear to everyone? Is there any doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how much?
Ma'am,
Yes. Bolo.
ma'am, the process by which the milk is preserved for 1 or 2 days, ma'am, if we don't go through that process and if we directly consume it, not for many days, on that day only, we consume it directly, will it affect our health?
What? I didn't get you. Can you repeat your question?
Ma'am, if we don't go through the process of that preservation of milk and we directly consume the milk without the preservation process, ma'am, will it affect our health?
You're telling you are just taking out from the cow and drinking it. Hello.
No,
Hello.
I can't get cow then.
Yeah, you're taking out from the cow and drinking it. That's what you're telling.
Yes, ma'am.
If your cow has no disease, then it's fit for you. If your cow is very clean and it has no such diseases, then just taking, you can take the milk and you can drink it. There's no problem. But the problem comes, see, the process by which it is being milked, milk is taken, and how clean are the milk vendors, whoever is taking out the milk, then how clean is the container of the person, then he's bringing from there to here, how long the time between taking out the milk and reaching to your home or giving to you. So all those factors actually matter more. If it is little older, then obviously microorganisms will grow, but jaise hi wo eject ho raha hai and you are taking it, then there's no problem. When we were kids in our houses, many times we used to take like that, but obviously it doesn't taste that good. I mean, sometimes you don't like the taste. Many a times you keep it, especially in village, they keep in a what, in a क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एक मिट्टी का बर्तन होता है, ठीक है, क्ले पॉट जैसा बड़ा सा. So in that they actually heat it, and it is heated at a very low flame for a very long time, and it tastes very very nice, very delicious types. It will have a little sweet flavor, and the color also becomes little orangish types. So that has a different flavor. So usually people heat it at a very slow flame, and then people usually they drink after heating, because that gives flavor. But if your animal is all clean and your practices are very clean and the area is very clean, because usually जहाँ पे animals होते हैं वो area बहुत clean नहीं होता है. Usually they dung will be there nearby, and their eatables are also like in a container. So most of the times वो area बहुत clean नहीं होता है, so the possibility of microorganisms there becomes high. But in case if you see the ideal condition, if those factors are not there, then you can drink the milk. Is it fine? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So let's go to the last topic and we'll end this chapter. So nitrogen fixation. What is nitrogen fixation? So we have learned about the bacteria which is known as rhizobium in your last classes, like especially CBSE board, and I think ICSE students also, they have heard about rhizobium, right? It is what? It is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. It is involved in the fixation of nitrogen, especially where? In leguminous plants. What are leguminous plants? Usually jitne pulses hain, they are leguminous plants. Okay, so in all the leguminous plants this rhizobium is there. That's why they can fix the nitrogen. इसलिए जब एक normal crop we put in the in the field, okay, so जैसे कि हमने अगर गेहूं सो किया, ठीक है, wheat, and then next you have to do rice, or the next maybe again wheat, whatever it is, so they will need nitrogen. and they don't fix nitrogen. So बहुत बार लोग क्या करते हैं, एक बार they will put गेहूं like wheat, and then they will put this pulses, and then they will again put gehu or rice or any such crops which which needs nitrogen. Okay, so in between sometimes this is a strategy of normally when we do agriculture. So farmers, they use this technique. They will use these kind of pulses which are nitrogen fixing. Okay, leguminous plants के जो roots होते हैं उसमें rhizobium होता है, ठीक है, and this rhizobium helps in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. तो आपका जो soil का nitrogen content है that increases, so that increases the fertility of the soil, right? So recall that rhizobium lives in the root nodules of the leguminous plants such as beans, peas, with which it has a symbiotic relationship. I told you symbiotic relationship. What is symbiotic relationship? Anyone?
Which share their food.
Okay, symbiotic relationship is the relationship between two partners where both gets benefited from each other. Okay, it is the relationship between two organisms where both gets benefited. Okay, both get benefited from each other. That is symbiotic relationship. Okay, so sometimes nitrogen gets fixed through the action of lightning. Okay, this is a natural way, but you know that the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains constant. So you may wonder how. Let us understand this in the next section. Okay, so here there is a small nitrogen cycle to explain this. Okay, so nitrogen contains how much nitrogen? You remember this always. It is 78% nitrogen gas, right? And nitrogen is one of the essential constituent of all living organisms. Okay, they are the part of protein, chlorophyll, nucleic acid, vitamins, etc. Okay, very important. So the atmospheric nitrogen cannot be taken directly. Okay, that's why I told fixing. Okay, fixation of nitrogen fixation. So nitrogen cannot be taken directly by plants and animals as a free nitrogen form which is present in the atmosphere. So certain bacteria and blue-green algae, so remember it, what bacteria and blue-green algae. Blue-green algae को अपन और क्या बोलते हैं? We also call them cyanobacteria. Blue-green algae is also known as cyanobacteria. Okay. Acha, when I teach, do you make your own notes parallelly?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone? Karthik?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yes, so blue-green algae is known as cyanobacteria. So there are certain bacteria and algae present in the soil. They fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and they convert it into compounds of nitrogen. Okay. Once nitrogen is converted into these usable compounds. Okay. So compounds of nitrogen मैंने आप लोगों को कुछ बताया. क्या बताया? Ammonia, nitrate. You can write these terms. This will be an extra information for you. Okay, ammonia, nitrate, nitrite. Okay, these three terms you can remember. क्योंकि आप जब आगे nitrogen cycle पढ़ोगे, मतलब fixation का part, तो there it will come कि which bacteria is converting nitrate to nitrite, which bacteria is converting ammonia to nitrite. Okay, all those things. So what all things? Ammonia, nitrite and nitrate.
Ma'am?
Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, nitrite is NO2 or N? Nitrite?
NO2. NO2 is nitrite. NO3 is nitrate.
Nitrite. Nitrate, NO3. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ammonia is NH3. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, that means NO3, NO2 and NH3.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So once nitrogen is converted into these usable compounds, it can be utilized by plants from the soil through their root system. Okay. So nitrogen is then used for the synthesis of plant proteins, other compounds. Okay. And animal feeding on plants, they get proteins and other nitrogen compounds from the plants. Okay. So then food chain starts. Once plant gets incorporated, plant incorporates all these minerals into it, then the primary जो भी plants को खाएंगे, they are primary consumers. Okay. So they will get those things from the plant products. So when plants and animal die, bacteria and fungi present in the soil convert the nitrogenous waste into nitrogenous compounds to be used by the plants again. Okay, so there are few bacteria which will actually convert the nitrogenous waste into usable compounds. Okay, so certain in bacteria we call decomposers. They are decomposers. Okay, so certain other bacteria convert some part of them to nitrogen gas, okay, which goes back into the atmosphere. So this also you can remember. There are a class of bacteria, okay, which can convert these organic nitrogen, ammonia, nitrate, etc., into free nitrogen. सीधे N2 में convert कर देते हैं उनको. ठीक है. So ऐसे भी bacteria होते हैं. ठीक है. So as a result, the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains more or less constant because it's a cycle. You can see here the cycle, right? This is atmospheric nitrogen. It will get fixed into this organic forms of ammonia, nitrate, nitrite by one way is lightening. Some part gets directly converted through lightening. Other is biological route. Biological route में क्या होता है? नाइट्रोजन फिक्सेशन होता है बाय बैक्टीरिया. ठीक है, वो एटमॉस्फेरिक नाइट्रोजन को फिक्स करेगा. देन बैक्टीरिया इन टर्न फिक्स नाइट्रोजन इनटू नाइट्रोजनस कंपाउंड्स. ठीक है, वो नाइट्रोजनस कंपाउंड्स क्या हैं? These things जो मैंने आपको बताए. ठीक है, and then compounds of nitrogen in the soil, they will be utilized by the plants, right? These plants will be eaten by animals or humans, whatever. ठीक है, and then it will the animals will excrete or they will die. These plants also can die. Okay, so all those nitrogenous waste, okay, from the excretion and death of the bodies of the plant and animals, again they will go and mix in the soil as the nitrogen compound. Okay, apart from this, how atmosphere again gets back the nitrogen, because there are certain bacteria which will convert these nitrogen to the atmospheric nitrogen. Okay, cycle is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the summary of what you have learned. Okay, and there are questions. Okay, so there are 9 questions in your book. Okay, in the NCERT we have 9 questions. Then there is extended learning, activities and projects. Okay, this is the end of the chapter. So please go through these 9 questions. Okay, try to solve everyone. This is homework. Okay, please go through the questions, solve it. Okay, and send me. Yes.
Ma'am, sorry, I forget to send my book PDF.
Okay, so you can send in the group that book also, and if there is anything extra, you can ask. You can go through the book chapter, whatever we have studied here. If there is anything extra given, so we'll take that also. Okay, if there is any doubt, you can share that also in the group. I'll share. I have already shared this chapter. Kya? Nahi. Is it shared in the group? This CBSE chapter?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I will share in the group. Okay, so because if students of ICC they don't have, so they will go through the chapter and they also need they will solve the questions and send me by next week. Okay, before the next class. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Is there any
Yes,
doubt, bacho, from today's class? We can take few doubts. Anyone?
Ma'am, when we have to submit the homework?
Before next class.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Before next class, whenever you get time, you just solve it in your copy. Make a PDF. Don't just take photos and collect them and send, because it becomes difficult. There is an app called what is that? Cam Scanner. Okay, you can tell your parents, so you can just take the pictures, and then the app can make a PDF, and then you send. And either you write your name in the PDF, or you can write your name in the copy itself where you are taking the picture. The first page you can write your name, whatever is suitable, so that there shouldn't be any confusion. Yes, someone was asking.
Ma'am, cam scanner is usable. It can be used.
It can be used, yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I heard before that it was banned by India, so I don't know.
That part I don't know, but we use Cam Scanner. Or if you have any other alternative, you can use it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Chalo then. See you all. Okay, we'll meet in the next class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. See you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye. Good night.
Good night, ma'am.